Hello everybody, I'm Joey and you're watching My Slice of Heaven Outdoors. Today I'm going to be making pork ribs on the smoker and I'll be using the 3-2-1 method. If you don't know what that is, stick around and I'll show you. Ouch. Alright guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off some of this fat. You definitely don't need that on there. And you'll see a lot of people when they make ribs, they cut off this whole flap right here. That's got a lot of meat on it. I don't do that either. And then if you watch those competition guys, they'll go further. They'll even cut all this top part off. That's a lot of meat right there. But they try to square it up, make it look pretty. But all I'm going to do is cut off these little pieces of meat. Not meat. Cut off these little pieces of fat and the skin. Not all of it, because we all know that the fat gives flavor. And I'll be taking off this membrane right here also. Any loose pieces of fat I like to cut off. And that looks good enough. That looks really good. Okay, next thing we're going to do is go take off this membrane, and all you do is get it started. Just run your knife up under between the bone and the membrane. And guys, everybody has their own way of cooking ribs. This is my way. And just grab a napkin, grab that piece of membrane, and I hope you can see that. Just start pulling it off. It'll ripple and you'll have to go back and take the knife, get back up on there a little bit, get it started and grab it again. It's easier to use a paper towel because it's just going to slip out of your fingers. And that's basically it. You want to take that off there because it's real chewy. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick it right here on this plastic wrap that I have laid out. And I'm going to go wash my hands. Be back in 1 second. Alright, now you know me, I like this Sweet Spot rub from Cowtown. Whenever I'm smoking, I use this. To be honest, I've only ever tried like 2 other rubs, and I tried this one and I liked it, so I stuck with it. Now, since these spare ribs are a little thinner piece of meat, I don't go as heavily with the rub as I do on the pork butts or the brisket. And I kind of just rub it in there a little bit, make sure it's all sticking. Then I'll flip it over. And do the other side. Like I was saying, I was on the pork ribs. I said at the beginning, I like to use the 3-2-1 method on my ribs. And if you don't know what the 3-2-1 method is, it's basically you cook for 3 hours in the smoker, You take it out, you wrap it in foil, put a little bit of juice in there. You can use any kind of juice, really. I prefer to use apple juice. I like to put bourbon in there sometimes. Put some, mix some apple juice and Jim Beam bourbon and put it in that aluminum foil. And then cook that for 2 hours. And that will be the 3 and the 2 part. And then the 1 part, you take it back out of the smoker, take it out of the foil, put it in for the last hour uncovered, and that's when you'll start basting it with the barbecue sauce. Now I've done it, as far as the juices go, I've done it with apple juice and pineapple juice before. Just keeps the meat from drying out, keeps it nice and tender, juicy. If you've never used the bourbon in it before, I've also, when I use the bourbon with the juice, I'll also mix bourbon in the barbecue sauce. And you know me, it's got to be Kraft brown sugar barbecue sauce. And I'll mix the bourbon in with the barbecue sauce and stir it around and then start slathering it on my ribs. Alright, when we get to this point, we just need to roll it up.
Yep.
But I should wash my hands first. I'm just going to roll this up a little bit. Should be just a little longer. That's okay, but we'll be wrapping up some more after we get it done here. And as you can see, I got my lovely assistant here now. No, I think we need to go this way.
Come on.
There
we go. Yeah, I probably would have started on that side.
Yep.
You know, hindsight is everything. Is that the bone? Going knock knock?
Yep. Now we'll go back the other way.
Hold on. You got me all twisted up.
Sometimes good help is hard to find.
You can do it by yourself. Or you're doing sometimes, but not this time. Hold on. Okay. It's rolling funny in the box. It's rolling funny in the box.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's good enough.
Okay, rip it.
Yep. You guys, we'll leave this. I'll be starting this cook around 12 o'clock today, which is about 3 hours from now.
Plastic.
Yeah.
Hold it.
So I'll just leave it. All right, guys, you saw me prep the ribs just a few seconds ago. Now I'm going to get my smoker ready. You'll remember this smoker. I showed it to you in another video. My son and I made this out of a 55-gallon drum. I love this thing. It cooks great. But I got a ash pan I'm going to put in there first. Then I'll put the fire basket, and then I'll get the coals ready. You've seen me do all this before, so I'm just going to speed up through the next little bit. Actually, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll edit it out pretty good, and because some people may not have seen this part. All right, let me get to it. And I hope you guys can see that. I like using this cowboy lump charcoal. I'll just dump the whole bag in there. And I got some hickory chunks. I'll spread those around. Put some in the bottom there. Throw a few more big chunks in there. Not much more though. That's going to be good. You can see the ash pan down in there. Then we just lower this basket down in the barrel. And I use these all threaded rods. I just bent them on the ends, use them for hooks. Okay, I got the basket down in there now. Now I need to start the charcoal. Light about 10 to 15. I didn't actually count. I just eyeballed it. 10 or 15 of these charcoals, and I don't know if can you see?
I think so.
You just want to put them on one side. You just want to put the charcoal on one side and it'll slowly burn around. Okay, now I got to get the grill grates on. And I'm putting the bottom one on because we'll be cooking some beans in here later. And I have a bottom shelf and a top shelf. Now just got to get the smoke up to temperature, or the heat up to temperature. That's it. That's good enough for now. We're going by the temperature on the top gauge. I don't know if you can see that very well. I think you can. But right where the blue line meets the red, that's exactly where we wanted it. That's 225. When it gets a little closer, I will close some of the vents on the bottom. You can see the lever right there that controls the air flow. And then it has these little twist on caps. I have 3 of those going around the barrel. I will close the twist on caps first and then finally adjust the lever, the ball valve. How did you do it?
Peyton's gonna get another one.
Where's the lid?
Okay.
There it is.
Put the holes on this side.
Here, you wanna shoot? You wanna shoot it in the hoop?
It's not all the way. I'm taking this way for it. Still not one. There you go.
Okay, hold your pretzel.
Alright, we're going to take these ribs out now and put them in this aluminum foil. They've been cooking for 3 hours now. And now we're going to take them out, wrap them up in aluminum foil, and they'll cook for another 2 hours. When I put them in for the other 2 hours, I like to put them meaty side down inside the foil. And I'll put a little bit of apple juice in the aluminum foil. Not a whole lot, just enough to cause create a little bit of steam. And meat side down in the foil. Look at that meat. That meat looks good. Punch it up a little bit. Put some more apple juice in here. Like I said, just enough to create some steam. And we'll let that cook for 2 hours.
Tiny feet away from you.
Alright, it's been 2 hours. We need to take it out on the foil now. Ribs. Ribs. Alright, get back, it's hot. Get back, it's hot. It's hot, it'll burn you.
That's for what? That's for you?
Yep.
That's for me, too. That's for me, too. Sorry about that car. Where'd you go? Let's go car.
How we doing this, girl?
I'm going to lift these up and put the beans in. What I'm going to do right now, guys, we just took these ribs out of the aluminum foil. I need to raise these racks out of here. And then Chris is going to put beans in the lower rack.
In the center or on the side?
Just in the center's fine. Stick them back in there and put the lid on it. And then beans and these ribs will cook for about another hour. Alright,
You're not gonna get the rest of this one?
so I'll leave half of it on the seam.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Alright guys, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. We're gonna get the beans out of here.
Smoky.
Be careful. Got it.
I got it.
Alright, we're gonna take out one of these racks of ribs. And we're just gonna leave the other one in there for a few minutes. Excuse me, we'll come back out and get it. Ooh, smoke. Look at them ribs, guys. They came out pretty good. If you notice how the left side of the screen looks a little lighter than the other side, that's because half of these ribs I did not put any sauce on. My mom doesn't care for barbecue sauce on her ribs. And my sister doesn't either. So that's why one side looks lighter than the other.